This morning, Justine Sacco, the top publicist who up until now repped internet giants like Match.com, OkCupid, and the Daily Beast, is unemployed and apologetic, all because of this tweet. Going to Africa. Hope I don't get AIDS. Just kidding, I'm white. Now she tells ABC News, words cannot express how sorry I am and how necessary it is for me to apologize to the people of South Africa.
In Chapter 2 of Kim's Mistaking Africa, he addresses many of the misconceptions of Africa. Kim states that many of the negative misconceptions of Africa can be credited to the media and the messages that they choose to display. Most of what is broadcasted about Africa is negative, downplaying the contributions that Africa has made to the world.
When I think of Africa, I think of lions and tigers and bears. Oh my.
I don't really have a bad perception of Africa. I know, it's just like, the United States as far as having buildings and stuff. I'm not naive to saying that it's probably certain parts of Africa, there's jungles, you see tigers and stuff like that. But other than that,
I think that it's more developed than what people think that it is.
The AIDS epidemic, I hear, is they're getting a hold of it, but it's still, I think, healthcare could be a little better than it is.
The wife rule in Africa, how you can have many wives, I think that'll make life interesting from a male's perspective,
Africa is a place that I would like to see someday.
In the 1970s, the park was called Busch Gardens, the Dark Continent. At that time, a poster advertising the park depicted a white family in an African environment. The husband in a safari suit and pith helmet holding a chimpanzee.
Only here, I feel this magic vibes.
This is a journey to the roots. Welcome to Africa.
20 years later, this racist and sexist poster is no longer used. As a result of protests, Busch Gardens has tried to change its Dark Continent image. Now the park focuses on mutual images such as the large animal park, replicas of African houses, African-made tourist art, and rides that have mildly African themes. Northern Africa has a rich history and vibrant past that was strongly led by the ancient Egyptian kingdoms. However, many Europeans did not believe they could be considered a civilization and conveyed this idea in their writings and teachings.
The Egyptians used writing as a record-keeping tool of the seasons and tracked taxation of the farming peasants. Around the same time as the agricultural revolution, the spread of language and writing began, as well as the development of math and a calendar system.
We actually got to sit down and interview Roy Bourgeois on his personal experiences and his views on the misconceptions of Africa.
My personal experience of Africa is not what most people expect. My family and I lived in a 3-bedroom brick house in a suburban area. I often had people ask me if I lived in a tree or the jungle, or if I had a lion as a pet. I actually had 2 German Shepherds, but the Africa I see in movies is definitely not what I grew up in.
Even though many people may continue to believe Africa is primitive or basic, the preceding examples undoubtedly prove that Africa was anything but. It was a thriving network of well-developed states that took part in trade and built breathtaking monuments we are still uncovering today. There are many reasons why people look at this location as being primitive, but when studying the history and doing background research, one would probably think otherwise. People learn what they want to learn, and they like their picture of Africa as they see it now.